the CBSA.
Minister, it was your organization that hired McKinsey, an organization that also recommended to your counterpart in the United States to cut back on supervision. Are you aware of that as well, that they recommended that ICE cut back on food for detainees, for medical assistance for detainees, as well as for supervision for detainees? Are you aware of any of that?
I appreciate the question, Ms. Kusie. Again, I am here to brief you and other members of the committee on the contracts that were awarded by CBSA to McKinsey, and I have laid out both the instances in which that occurred, the amounts, and the timeframes, and I'm happy to take questions about that.
Minister, are you also aware that a 19-month-old girl named Marie Juarez also died after being in a detainee environment as a result of the implementations of the recommendations of McKinsey to your counterpart in the U.S.? Once again, an organization that your organization hired to make recommendations. Are you aware of that? That a 19-month-old girl died?
Well, naturally, I would express my condolences to that individual's family. But again, we are here to discuss the contracts that were awarded to McKinsey by the CBSA, and I have provided some detail and some substance with regards to those 4 contracts.
You know, Minister, your government has talked a lot about Trump and comparing this side of the House to the Trump administration. Is that what your organization was trying to do, was to emulate and to implement a similar policy direction that the Trump administration took with ICE, your counterpart, the CBSA here? Was that what they were trying to do?
Well, the Canada Border Services Agency does issue contracts when internal resources are not able to meet the business case needs of the organization. And throughout the course of my introductory remarks, I laid out the process by which those needs are articulated, through which objective criteria are set, and through which external bidders are able to compete for that contract, for which there are the appropriate protocols and processes in place to ensure that there's transparency. That is a process that is carried out not in a partisan way, but rather by our independent, nonpartisan professional public servants. And today I'm here to answer questions about those 4 contracts in which the CBSA did award them to McKinsey.
That's right. They awarded them to McKinsey, an organization that also provided advice to immigrations and customs enforcement with horrific results. You knew that, your organization knew that, and yet you still hired them as recently as 6 months ago, Minister. I think that's shameful. Minister, are you aware that this committee made the decision, moved a motion on January 18th requesting documents, all documents in an unredacted form to be provided to this committee around McKinsey?
I'd like to offer 2 points. First, you've imbued the CBSA with knowledge, which I am sure, and I will let Ms. O'Gorman, that they did not have with regards to the very tragic and unfortunate circumstances that you've described abroad. But secondly, I am aware of the motion. I'm aware that there has been a request for as much information to be provided to this committee